Hi friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Live streaming is difficult. Oh my god. Oh man. Welcome to I can't fucking believe that I did it again Friday. In order for OBS to work, like, there's a very specific sequence that you have to do things in. Like, you have to plug the mic in, and then you have to push a couple of buttons on the front of the mic, and then you have to turn the camera on, and then you have to set the computer to pick up the desktop audio, and then you have to start OBS. If you do any one of those things out of order, shit don't work. And I got the microphone plugged in at the right time, and I pushed one set of buttons on the microphone, but I didn't push the second set of buttons on the microphone, and we had no audio. Oh my god, so what was I saying? We're going to be playing around with the AOS 3.5. It needs a new ESC, and the Vista, the naked Vista that's on it, freezes a lot. And I've decided to put this on the Walksnail. I have one of these big old 25 by 25 Walksnail VTXs, and that'll fit in the front of the AOS 2.5, and then I can move the ESC and the flight controller to the rear, and all will be right with the world. And then what I think I'm going to do is bring this rig with me to one of the cycling events, even though it's not on DJI. No, I'm not going to do that. So the plan was to put this on a Vista, and this could be a third backup cycle chasing rig. But because I'm wondering if this setup on 3-inch propellers with the GepRC 3-inch prop guards it almost certainly will be more efficient. But how much more efficient will it be than the 2.5-inch box frame rigs? But here's the thing. I don't want to do that with a naked Vista. So I think what I'll do is just build this thing out. It can be a Walksnail rig, fine, whatever. And then if I want to go down that road again, the O3 Air Unit fund is now complete. So I'll get an O3 Air Unit. I'll get one of the new AOS 3.5 frames. This is the V1. This is the old 2 versions ago AOS frame. So yeah, if I decide to do another Vista cycle chasing rig with this, get the new frame, get the O3 Air Unit on it, and then yeah, we can see. Because there's a chance that at some point I might move over to the O3 Air Units, no time soon. But yeah, maybe an AOS is the first frame that we can put an O3 Air Unit in, because the O3 Air Unit doesn't fit in a lot of frames. There's a lot of frames where it won't go in there. So yeah, I think that's everything that I had said. In the chat, RT McKinney was first, Bob Bruce was next, Frank Nicholas, Rob Axels and Hockey Rounds, Douglas Otwell, Adam Weston, Fire Mike, Northern Tier, Prado, RT again, Metal Dirtskin, Just in Time, Professor Biohazard, Rob Axelson, Chris FPV, J Drones, Mick Mucus, Storm Rider, Fun Per Volt, Anonymous, Sky Sailor. What's happening here? What's happening here? Hold up. Hold up. Yeah, no, we're good. Kevin Sumner, Kestrel, Fun Per Volt, Professor Biohazard, Sky Sailor, Terry Burnett, Jay Drones, Storm Rider, Sky Sailor. If you want the Gangly Man to read your name, you got to get in the chat early. You got to say hello. If you want to talk directly to me in the chat, all you got to do is type CiottiFPV. If you do that, your comment will light up in orange. and I will read it. If you don't do that, I probably won't read it, because I know that you guys like to talk amongst yourselves. So yeah, at 9 o'clock, Bot Grinder is going to go on, so we will wrap this shit up by then, and yeah, we'll be good to go. We will be good to go. Folks that have tagged me so far, Bob Bruce says, how's it going, Gangely Gang? How's it going? How's the Gangly Gang doing this Friday? He says, Rob Axelson says, Ola, Senior Aaron, greetings from all the way from South Jersey. I'm out of town. I lived in South Jersey for almost 10 years. Adam Weston says, hello from sunny, not Sandusky. Fire Mike says, hello. Hope Doggy is doing okay. Yeah, Duke's doing way better. He had 4 seizures on Wednesday morning, which is super scary. And ever since then, he's been... he's like scared. Like you can kind of just see it in his behavior and in his eyes. He's just scared and he's like confused, right? Because like he doesn't know what a seizure is. He's old. He's an old dog. So yeah, I don't know. This is scary. But hey, you know, we love animals as hard as we can while they're here, and when they choose to go, that's on them. We can't keep them here. It's tough though. RT McKinney says, tapping my watch at 7:01. LOL. Justin Time says, hey. Rob Axelson says, poo break. No, it's just late. Rob Axelson says, I gotta head out. I'll stay safe. I'll check in later. Very cool. Professor Biohazard says, no sound. Kevin Sumner says, no audio. Sky Sailor, Rob Axelson. There it is. There's the realization. RT McKinney says, push the talk button. CH3 says, what's up, gang? Elmo Hawk says, oi, oi. Hockey Rounds with a $2 super chat. He says, start of the producer fund. What's the producer fund? Elmo Hawk says, I thought Bot was off this week. Oh, okay. I don't keep track of anything anymore. Yeah, we do need a new fund. So what should it be? What do you guys want to see on here? What do you guys want to see me destroy, test, fly, smash? We're starting slow with the one singular O3 air unit. I don't really have high hopes for it. R2 McKinney says, it's the person that makes sure you push the correct button to make the audio work. Right. Producer. Yeah. Man, would that be nice. Yeah, what should we do here? What should we do? What should we do, fund? Kevin Sumner says Grinderino frame. Which one's that? Is that Bot's new frame? That's not Bot's new frame. My Solid FPV. Make sure that when you type Ciotti, you type CiottiFPV. When you just type Ciotti, it doesn't highlight it in orange, but if you type CiottiFPV, it will. These guys are putting an @ in front of it, but you don't have to put an @ in front of it. You just have to type CiottiFPV with no space in between, and then it'll light up in orange. I just happened to see this, though. My Solid FPV says, I don't know if you remember, but I'm the kid from Rampage who is getting his shirt signed by all the pilots. I want to say thanks one again for signing as well. Yeah, man, for sure. For sure. I do remember you. That was fun. You're one of the YRZ guys, right? You guys are awesome. Yeah, I remember you, man. It's great to meet you. Getting everybody to sign your shirt is a great idea. I don't know why I've never done that. It's such a cool idea. The only thing that, I feel like I would do that, and then I would accidentally wash the shirt and like, ruin it. It's like, I feel like once you've done that, like, you can't wash that shirt, and for the most part, you kind of can't wear it. Although, like, I wear t-shirts over and over and over again. But, like, you know, before the stream, I go up and I get, like, an FPV t-shirt on, and then, like, I wear it sitting here, not sweating. And then at the end of the stream, I'll usually go up and take it off and throw it back on the hanger. So, like, I can get away with wearing shirts, you know, 10, 15 times because I'm sitting here with them on for 2 hours, like, not sweating or anything, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it would make a lot of sense for me to do that, but I haven't. Adam Weston says AOS 5 with 03. AOS 5 frame. So we've talked about it quite a bit. It's what is the Grinderino? Two of you now are mentioning the Grinderino. Why do I not know what that is? Grinderino. It's a frame, right? Tiny Grinderino from Rotor Builds. Another Grinderino here. Demibot first flight. Is it the Demibot frame? Oh, it's bots 3.5. Yeah, done. For fucking real. Yeah, we're doing that for sure. For sure. Grinderino fund, yo. What's that frame cost? Let's just do... it can't possibly cost more than $100. Let's say it's a $70 frame. YouTube takes 30%, so I have to bump that up. So let's do 90. Let's just say 90. I don't know what it actually costs. It doesn't look like you can buy it yet. But yeah, usually 3-inch frames are a little bit less. Yeah, I'm not seeing that you can buy it. Grinderino FPV frame. Cool. That's a great idea, guys. That's a fucking fantastic idea. All right, cool. Although if it's going to be sold, it's probably going to be sold on Umagod's website. So let's go here real quick. And yeah, okay, it's not up here yet. It's not up here yet. Unless it's like inside of the Demibot item. Let's see. Nah, it's just this one. So they must still be prototype testing it. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's a great idea, guys. And I'm just gonna take a guess on the price. I'm gonna guess that it's a $60 frame, and yeah, or $70, and then that. So yeah, there we go. Just move this over a little bit. There we go. That's looking better. Yeah, that works. Hi, friends. CH3FPV says, fund idea for the QAV Nano 2-inch. Is that the box frame thing? Hold on. Is that this? QAV Pro Nano? Is that what you mean? I am kind of interested in this. I don't really know why. Like, I don't know what this would be. I don't understand this rig. I really don't. I feel like its only real use is for carrying an O3 air unit. Because if you make it any heavier than that, it's going to kind of be a mess. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the point of this is. I mean, should this be what I put the O3 air unit into? What an odd setup on the front of this thing. Very, very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I like that idea though, CH3. I'm gonna do a poll. I'll do a poll. Look, I know how to do things. Start a poll. Which frame for the next fund? You guys can't see me doing this because it's down. It's right here where my big dumb face is. Grinderino QAV Pro 2-inch. Okay. Ask your community. There it is. There's a poll. It's on you guys. You get to pick Grinderino or QAV Pro. Yeah, the QAV Pro is super interesting, and like I here's the problem with 2-inch props. They're not efficient at all. And there really aren't great motors for them. there aren't motors that are a high enough KV. It's the same issue that we have of it being a struggle to find motors that are a high enough KV that you can put tri-blades on to get the efficiency, right? Like this rig here, right? In order to get efficiency from this, you want to put 3 tri-blades on it. But in order to get enough power out of it, if you're going to run tri-blades, you're going to need a motor that's got mega KV, which we don't really have. So that then forces you to put like 5-blade props on it, at which point it's even less efficient. Like 2-inch propellers are not efficient in the first place. So yeah, it's interesting. Like if your only payload though is the O3 air unit, I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. But at the end of the day, I would just rather do a 2.5-inch build. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand this thing. I guess the point of this is just to get a rig that carries the O3 air unit that's guarded and is as light as humanly possible. And like, I'm kind of down for that, because lightweight makes Cinewhoops fly a lot better. They track a straight line much better. But this is not a Cinewhoop. This is a box frame, and it doesn't even come with any kind of prop guard around the outside here. So what that means is it's not going to be accurate. It's going to want to slide around, and it's going to almost be more freestyle-y than Cinewhoopy. So yeah, it's kind of, it's in a weird spot, this frame. I know for a fact though that Ryan Harrell spent a shitload of time designing this with GetFPV. So it's a good design, and for carrying an O3 air unit kind of sort of around people, I guess it makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting option. Do they have any like cinematic footage with it? Oh boy. Yeah, okay. So you can technically fly it in the house, but you can see how incredibly uncomfortable it is to fly it in the house. It's way too heavy, way too big, way too powerful. You know, like, yes, you can survive flying it in the house, but like that's not fun flying. That's like, oh my god, don't crash and break the damn thing flying. It chases other quads in schools. Okay. Yeah, I mean, see, this is interesting. Like the O3 air unit is incredible for the weight. I don't know about this. I'm pretty sure that they did not fly this with an O3 air unit. But I don't know about some of these clips. I'm pretty sure they didn't fly this with this rig. I could totally be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But the only possible way that they flew this CARAD with this rig is if it was carrying a GoPro. And a 2-inch rig carrying a GoPro, it would have to have been a naked GoPro. And maybe that's what they were doing. But, I don't know about that. I'm not going to start shit, though. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I don't know about this. I don't know about this frame. Like, the long and short of it is that this build, the old version of this, which is on 2.5-inch props, makes a lot more sense than this one on 2-inch props. There's just a massive decrease in efficiency with 2-inch props versus 2.5. So basically, I think what I'm getting at here is that this rig, and I could be wrong about this, but I believe this rig was designed and built to shrink down the QAV Pro 2.5 to save a little bit of weight, because the O3 air unit is heavier than the regular Vista, and I'll bet you. So Freybot, the pilot who is kind of behind the QAV Pro frames, he's like the pro pilot that was providing GetFPV and Ryan Harrell with like the testing info and data and feedback, and he's probably the one that requested a frame that would do this stuff. Oh shit, I forget where I was going with this. Yeah, he's over in Europe where you really have to stay below sub 250. So I'll bet you the 2.5-inch QAV Pro with an O3 air unit with a naked GoPro is over 250 no matter what. And I bet you they shrunk that down to 2 inches to save a couple of grams, that they can put that grams back into the heavier O3 air unit versus the Vista, and probably the slightly heavier naked GoPro, right? Maybe they went from like GoPro 10 to 11, and it probably gained a couple grams there as well. So that would be my guess as to why this QAV Pro Nano 2-inch was designed, because otherwise I don't know. Otherwise I don't understand why they would shrink a 2.5 down to 2 inches. You know, that's what she said. All right, let me get caught up on chat here. It looks like we're building the Granderino frame, which is awesome because I already typed it in here. So that's great. Thank you, guys. I'm going to end the poll. There we go. All right, cool. We won't have to worry about the QAV Pro because you guys didn't vote for it. We won't have to worry about why this frame exists. For me, I don't know why. I don't know what I would do with it. I don't know what I would do with a 2-inch box frame. Yeah, it's not. I don't think that's for me. Things are a little bit more lenient here in the U.S. So, to be quite honest, I'm intrigued by it. I love that Ryan Harrell put a bunch of time into it, and it's great that it can take an O3 air unit, but I'm not just gonna buy a frame because of that. Like, for me to put 6 to 10 hours into a build, it's got to have a purpose, and I can't figure out a good purpose for that, to be honest. It sounds terrible, but I think I know. But yeah, it's just not for me. Products are built for specific people, and this one I think is maybe not built for me, and that's okay. RT McKinney, nope, we got that. CH3 says, fun idea, QV Nano, we got that. Kevin Sumner says, yep, it's bots 3.5. Adam Weston says, AOS 5 with O3. Anonymous says, how about a balloon popping course? Mudderson says, I missed what motors are going on the AOS, and are they your ideal choice for a sub 250 digital freestyle rig? So the motors that I'm going to put on this, the motors that I have on it now are the Zing 1504s, 3900 kV. But they are no longer made. And although, which pisses me off, because like right now, up until like a couple days ago, I thought that our motor selection stopped at 1404 and that we didn't have any options all the way up to 1604. We used to have 1404, and then we had 1504, and then we had 1306, and then we had 1504 and a half, and then we also had 1505. We used to have 5 different motor options in between those two, or 4, whatever. But now all of a sudden we don't have any. The Emax 1306s have been discontinued. The Zing 1504s have been discontinued. The Toka 1505s have been discontinued. But I just saw the other day, I think, that Axis Motors makes a 1505. They do. They do indeed. But it's not a good KV. 3450 KV is way too low. Tell me they have a... Wow. That sucks. Here's what I'll say about this. So this is probably the best 3.5-inch propeller motor that exists right now. 3450 kV on a pitchy 3.5-inch prop should make really good power. You're gonna want the in terms of propellers, you're gonna want to pair this with the Gemfan 3525. The Gemfan has two 3.5-inch props, 3525, 3520. You definitely want the 3525. So it'll be great on that. It's also going to be great on the Emax 3.5-inch props. I don't know if they're going to clear the bell, so definitely get the Gemfan 3525 propeller, and then also get like one pack of the Emax 3.5-inch props. Emax even has a 3.6-inch prop that you can try. Both of those, their regular 3.5 and their 3.6, both of those are significantly more pitchy than the Gemfan 3525, and this motor is definitely going to take advantage of that extra pitchiness. So, yeah, that would be a hell of a 3.5-inch build with these Axis 1505s. Let's see if there's anybody stateside that's selling them. TBS is selling them, but they are overseas. Rotor Village, no. Pyro, nope, that ain't it. Okay, so it looks like nobody's selling them in the US yet. But hopefully they will. And if you really want them, you can get them from TBS. You're just gonna have to wait a few weeks for them to arrive. $16 a motor. Ooh, it's expensive. So yeah, really nice that we've got a motor option in between. Well, and you know what? 1505 is probably more stator volume than 1604. It's probably the same, if not more. No, it's definitely more, because 1604 versus 1505. So we go from 15 to 16, which is a small percentage change. That's what, like a 3.5% change. 3.5% increase, but going from 4 to 5 on the stator height is like a 25% increase. So yeah, these 1505s are going to be significantly more powerful than T-Motor's 1604. But what's cool about the 1505 is that it maintains the 1-to-3 stator ratio that we really like for freestyle. So you look at like a 2207, right? 2207. So you take the 7, 14, 21. So it's basically 3 to 1. For every 3 millimeters of width, you've got 1 millimeter of height, right? And 2207, 2306, those are considered to be like the best 5-inch motor sizes. 2306, 6, 12, 18, 24, 24, 23, right? So that's 4 to 1. So between 3 to 1 and 4 to 1, if we go by like 5-inch R&D, right, that's been done, and in terms of like the best flying quadcopters in the world, it's obviously 5-inch, right? So the 5-inch motor size is like, we can learn a lot from it. And I have learned a lot from it, and I've applied those to the way that I size micromotors, and it's almost always right on the money. So when we use that 3 to 1, 4 to 1, if we look at the T-Motor 1604, which is the other really good choice for a 3.5-inch rig, 1604, 4, 8, 12, 16. So 1604 is equivalent to a 2306 in terms of stator width to stator height. This 1505 is the equivalent of a 22 or a 2107. 7, 14, 21, 5, 10, 15, 3 to 1 height to width. So yeah, this is a great motor size. I'm excited that this exists. I would not pair this motor with 3-inch propellers. This motor is too low of a KV for a 3-inch motor. Propeller, rather. Ooh, shitters. Yeah, there is no reason to... it's just not going to be a good combo with a 3-inch prop. You're gonna leave a bunch of performance on the table because of a lack of RPM, basically. There aren't any 3-inch T-mount props that are a high enough pitch to take advantage of a 1505 that's at 3450 kV. That's what's going on there. Make sense? Hopefully. Anybody? No? All right. I tried. Now it makes sense. You guys know what's up. You guys know all the things, man. Cool. Let me keep getting caught up on chat here. Great question, Metal Dirtskin. Motor choice. In order of importance with micros, motor choice, propeller choice, battery choice. Those are the three things that have the biggest effect on the way that a micro flies. And those are the things that we struggle with the most. We don't have a lot of good motor options. We don't have a lot of good propeller options. We got plenty of battery options. But yeah, our motor options suck for micros, and our prop selection sucks for micros. In most cases, there is one motor that makes sense for your build. Whereas like with 5-inch rigs, it's like, here's a half a dozen or a dozen different motors in different colors from different manufacturers that you can choose from, right? With micros, like, I consider myself lucky if anyone makes the correct stator volume motor and KV motor for an intended application, right? Like, so when I say like an intended application, for the ACC and NCL cycle chasing Crit Cup series, those box frames, like that's a thing, right? I need to go 30 to 40 miles an hour as efficiently as possible, under 250 grams. How do I do that? With full prop protection, right? And for those rigs, it certainly seems like 1404 is the perfect size motor. I wish we had a 1404 that was a slightly higher KV. We actually don't have the perfect motor for that application. I'm pretty close with the 4500 kV T-motor 1404, but I would much rather have a 5000 kV motor so that I can motor scale it up or down a little bit. And payload is the other big thing. Payload is the thing that really drives the power plant. But how do you want to fly it? And there's a lot of other things that factor in, but payload is one of the biggest things. In those rigs' case, the payload is the Vista. It's the Vista VTX. The hell was that noise? In some cases, your payload... So, like the tiny lifters, for example, the payload for these things is the 26-gram Insta360 Go 2. Right? Like, every rig has a payload. It's like what you're picking up that doesn't really do any work. And that doesn't necessarily work for those rigs, because, like, the Vista is doing work, right? It's sending me video. But, like, it is the video platform, right? Like, 9 times out of 10... our payload is just the camera, and it's the camera that's getting HD footage. Those cycle chasing rigs, to get more efficiency, I would love to build them analog, but I can't output analog video to the TV truck. So, the Vista sort of, I want to say ipso facto, but I don't know if that's the right saying here, is the payload. You guys know what I'm saying, though. McMucus seconds the Grinderino fund. Kevin Sumner says Grinderino's bot's 3.5. Kevin Sumner also says it's not available yet. Soon. Fire Mike says, you're always so complimentary of people's ideas. Thanks for that. I try, man. You know, you guys are a part of the show as much as I am. I'm the moron that got duped into pointing a camera at himself. But you know, this whole thing that I've been doing for the last 2.5 years is, yeah, like it's crowdfunded more than just like financially. Like the ideas that we have and the like everything is a one big crowdfund here. And so yeah, I respect you guys a lot. Sometimes I can get annoyed by you guys, in fairness, but it's, you know, that's life. I appreciate you guys. You guys literally allow me to do this. And so to not be super complimentary would be incredibly unfair. So, yeah, I love you guys. You're the best. CMYK says, yo! June Loco says, Volador. Nah, I have no interest in the Volador. That's the 5-inch frame, right? Yeah, I can't just do like I can't. I don't have the. Yeah, it's true. I don't have the time to just like do a build for the sake of doing a build. Like the Volador frame, I'm so against it. Like it's way too heavy, for no real reason, which is going to lead to tons of blown up motors, and it's gonna fly like ass. So like it's just, yeah, I just have absolutely no interest whatsoever. Isn't it like a 200-gram frame? Like I can just take one of my glides and put a gigantic battery on it, to make it weigh 177 grams, right? So I can just run a battery that is like 80 grams heavier than the one that I normally run, and that will give me, and then I can go fly it around, and that will be the flight experience of the Volador. Although it'll actually be a better flight experience, because if I crash it, it'll break an arm instead of breaking the motor on the glide frame. If you crash the Volador, it's going to break the motor every single time that you crash inverted on the arm, because the arms are never going to break, because the frame weighs 177 grams. So, yeah, I really recommend that you guys stay away from these incredibly heavy frames until there's some sort of a breakthrough in motor technology that allows us to make a motor that's actually durable. Right now, it makes no sense, in my experience, to fly a frame that's more than like 110, 120 grams. Because the frame is not the weak point. The motors are the weak point. And until that weak point gets fixed, right? Like, why are we gonna beef everything up around it? Like, it's like these guys that build. It happens in the Miata community a lot. Like these guys will take a Miata from 100 horsepower and they'll turbo it and do all kinds of shit and bring it up to like 300-400 horsepower, but it'll still be on the 195 millimeter width tires. And then they go out and they go to the racetrack and they run like a half a second faster, and they spent like 20 grand on bottom end and turbo stuff and all this nonsense. And it's like, what the hell, right? Well, yeah, of course. You didn't fix, like, the thing that was holding you back in the first place was the tires. It wasn't horsepower. You got to fix the tire. Like, you got to fix the weakest link first. You don't fix all the other shit first. Fix the weakest link first. And if there is no fix, which I don't know if there is, right? Because, like, we can't go... We're already at a titanium 4mm motor shaft. We can't go to a 5mm motor shaft because of the way the stator works. And titanium was already, like, kind of the best material. So we're at a place where, yeah, like, the motors probably won't get more durable. So these really heavy frames that would benefit from a more durable motor, it's kind of like, I don't get it. All that being said, if you would rather replace motors than carbon fiber arms on your frame, awesome. Volador, in my opinion though, don't buy the Volador, buy Bots frame. If you want a completely indestructible frame, buy Bots. But just understand that you're going to go through a lot more motors than you would with a frame like the Glide, where the arms are designed to break in a really, really, really hard slam in hopes that you can save the motor. And it really does work. Like, I have broken so many arms on the Glide. Basically, the way it works for me is if I hit a motor inverted hard enough to break the arm, I can hit it'll survive the first one, and it'll have a little bit of a wobble. It'll usually survive a second one, but then on the third one, that motor will be too wobbly, and that motor bell will have to go away. But with with an Apex, with a Volador, with any frame heavier and stronger than the Glide, that's not going to happen. And most of the other frames, it's going to be every time. It's going to be every time you crash inverted and the motor hits the ground first, that motor bell is done. It'll probably still spin, but if you have a PID tune that's anything pushed from stock or even at stock, there's going to be so many vibrations coming from that motor that the rig is going to be a hot mess to fly. And then your footage looks like ass and it gets hot and you know, all kinds of bad shit can happen. So, yeah, I don't know. Different philosophies, and that's fine. But yeah, my approach to 5-inch was, how do I make this as cheap as possible? And motors cost $25 each. Arms cost like $3 each. So I will replace arms all day long, and to get around replacing motors. Hold on, guys. I think I'm about to have an allergy attack. As if this stream can't go off the rails even anymore. Hold on, yo. Hold on. Woo! I'm coming back. Hold on. Hold on. All right. All right. Woo! Okay. Hopefully. Oh, please. Please, nose. Just be cool. Just be cool once, nose. My Solid FPV says, what about the OddityRC X12 Pro? What the hell is that? So it looks like this is just another one of these pusher frames. I'm not really into these frames. I don't really understand them. Like, yes, they do fly good in like a freestyle setting, but these are not, like, freestyle does not have prop guards, right? And so, like, yeah, I don't know, like, what's it for? Like, why are we judging? It's not just this one, but it's all of these style frames. Why are we judging this style of frame by how good it flies freestyle when there's no reason to fly freestyle with prop guards? The only reasoning behind that I can come up with, because I've thought a lot about this, because these frames are super popular, right? The only reason for these guards in a freestyle setting that I can figure out is what we talk about with tiny whoops, and how, in my opinion, tiny whoops fly better than these little non-guarded mini fellas. Because if you're flying something this small, it's going to be very slow, and if it's going to be slow, it might as well be like scalpel fucking laser pointer accurate, so that you can hit tiny little gaps. So this style of frame here, these pusher, barely prop guarded frames, in theory, for freestyle, you can kind of blur the lines between freestyle and cinematic, and you've basically got something that will be more accurate for shooting gaps than something that is open propellered. But I don't know. I think I would rather. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Like, what is that situation? Like with tiny whoops, it makes sense because right outside of all of our apartments and homes, there are gardens and bushes and shit, and those bushes have little tiny gaps all over the place. And there's jungle gyms all over the place, and jungle gyms have gaps that are this big, which is the appropriate size for a tiny whoop, right? This thing is a 2.5-inch rig. And so where is it that there are gaps that are this big for a 2.5-inch rig? Maybe you've got a location near you with a whole bunch of gaps that are this big, which I guess is the right size gap for a 2.5-inch rig here. But I think that's pretty rare. I would rather have like a ripsqueak. I would rather have an open propped, because see the thing. So with small rigs, you don't have enough power or speed to get any throw. So taking the prop guards off, it gets you like 6 inches more throw when you're off throttle, which is nothing. A 2.5-inch or a 3-inch rig, ducts, guards on versus guards off, the difference is going to be big. Like the non-guarded rig, you're going to be able to fly it in the way that we fly 5-inch rigs, and you're going to be able to throw it over not huge trees, but pretty big trees. And like you won't be able to throw it over a cluster of trees like you can do with a 5-inch rig, but you can throw it over the first tree and then play around with the second tree, maybe throw it over that one and then play around with the third tree, right? So it's this 3-inch and even 2.5-inch, but definitely 3-inch is in a really nice place of having a good amount of momentum for off-throttle stuff to give you that really nice full freestyle experience. These guarded 2.5-inch rigs, you can't do that stuff. So it's this weird middle ground of like, you can't use it as a proper cinewhoop because the prop guards don't have actual prop protection. So if you're flying this thing and you bump into somebody, you're going to cut the shit out of them, right? So you can't fly it like a cinewhoop, but then you kind of can't fly it like a freestyle whoop either because it's not going to have any throw because of the prop guards. So like, what the hell is it for, right? Like what I've noticed is that when reviewers review these pushers, they're like, oh my God, it's every time, oh my God, this is so much better than X, Y, or Z cinewhoop that's 200 grams heavier and has full tall ducts so that you can fly it around musicians and actors and whatever, your friends and family and your dog without chopping them to bits. But there's never any discussion of like who it's for, right? Because it's like, oh my God, this thing flies so much better than it's like driving a sports car and saying, man, this thing is so much faster than a pickup truck. Well, fucking of course it is. It's meant to be that, right? It's meant to be nimble and fast. It's not meant to carry wooden planks, right? Like, alternatively, it's like getting into a pickup truck and being like, damn, this thing carries so much more wood than my fucking Miata does. Like, that's insane, right? It's basically what these reviewers are saying. Like, they're taking something that's meant for... Yeah, they're just comparing it to things that don't make any sense. So, I don't really have any interest in these pushers because I cannot figure out a single use for the damn things. I can't figure out a job that these things are going to be able to do well, I guess, is what I'm saying. Unless you've got a very specific location where the gaps are the exact right size for something like this. But I don't know. I think that's pretty rare. This GoPro mount here also is absolutely horrible, and you should not use this. All this does is give you jello in your video, because this is not a strong enough attachment point. Not to mention, if you ever crash your rig hard, do you seriously think that this isn't just going to rip off and throw your $300, $400, $500 GoPro into the never, never beyond land? So yeah, never, ever, ever use these mounts. They're terrible. So yeah, I hate to shit on your dreams, but I just, this style of rig, and I've thought really hard about doing this. The other thing that sucks about these rigs is you have to run AIOs on them, which really blows, because AIOs are the worst. I've really thought long and hard about trying to do one of these rigs for the cycle chasing stuff. But yeah, what I realized pretty quickly is that these just offer practically no propeller protection, and that's just not cool. Like, technically speaking, yeah, sure, this satisfies the FAA's rule about not having externally spinning blades that can cause lacerations. But if like, so yeah, if you don't care about ever getting another job, sure, just send it. And just fly this, but like, you will hit someone or something at some point, and if you hit them with this, that might be the last time you ever get a job in the FPV world, because the film world is pretty small, and yeah, a fuck up where you injure someone is game over. Like, that's it. You're done. And I'm not interested in that. So yeah, I don't understand these rigs. Sorry for the long drawn out answer, but sometimes I hope that you guys, and I think you do, I hope that you'll kind of stick with me as I walk down these roads with some of this stuff, and just kind of talk it out. Like, I'm talking it out almost as much for myself as I am for you. And I hope that's cool. And sometimes I actually will learn stuff. Like, sometimes as I'm talking it out like that, I'll realize, like I kind of just did here today, like, I'll realize that, like, oh yeah, technically, if you have a location that you love to fly, where instead of having tiny whoop sized gaps, it's got gaps that are like this big, or probably a little bit bigger than this, that would be where this might be a better bet. I would still rather fly that spot with a regular open propped 3-inch rig, because it's going to not just, it'll still shoot those same gaps. It'll be a little bit more difficult because it'll be a little more slidey, but it'll do everything else better. It'll have much more off throttle throw for throwing it up over trees and shit, and it'll be more efficient, and it'll be lighter. It'll crash better because it won't, break the guards when you slam really hard. So yeah, there you guys go. My nose is going to hell again. I'm just gonna try to wipe it with a microfiber as often as I can, and hopefully it will stop exploding. Oh god. Oh god. That's horrifying. Oh god. This is a nightmare. Yeah, I'm gonna have an allergy attack. It's coming. It's coming. Oh, fuck. God. Oh, Christ. Okay. All right, let's get back into it. CH3 says, the Nano 2-inch with 1404, but which AIO? Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good feel for AIOs. The only AIOs that I have any real experience with, and the only AIOs that I would really trust is the Acon. Oh my god. I can go take a Claritin, but it takes like over an hour to kick in, so it's kind of worthless. I'll take it when the stream's over. Off Axis says howdy. Frankie B says, thank you for the live streams. Hope you never have to stop. Me too, Frankie. I would love to do this forever. This is fun. Omar says 3-to-1 ratio is new to me. Learned something today. Yeah, in fairness, I stole that from Chris Rosser. Chris Rosser put out a video about motors a long time ago, where he kind of dove into them. And it's just something that he sort of noticed, is that, yeah, there is that ratio of width to height on 5-inch motors, and like, you know, 5-inch is such a nice thing to kind of reference because we've had thousands of pilots over 7 or 8 years that have really worked to figure out the right motor size, right? Started with like started with I'm not going to go down the history of 5-inch motors, but yeah, the most effort in all of FPV has been put into perfecting the 5-inch platform. And what's one of the, so this is I might blow some of your guys' tits off with this one too. Like, you ever wonder, like, why 5-inch? Like, why is 5-inch this magical propeller size? A lot of it actually has to do with the material that we use for our propellers. When you make a propeller blade out of a material, if you take that propeller blade and you fling it like that, it makes a sound. Ready? Hear it? Donk. Hear that sound? So that's a little 1.6-inch prop. Wah! Right, it's like that pitch. Wah! And if you take a 1.2-inch prop, it'll be a higher pitch. Hear it? Ah! So wah! Ah! Right? So that is the resonant frequency of that propeller blade. So now we blow that up to a 5-inch prop, right? Dong. So each propeller blade, each different size propeller blade, mainly length, right, has a resonant frequency. And everything else on these quads vibrates, right? So it's like, great, another thing that's got vibrations, the blades of the propellers. Well, the plastic that we use for our propellers, I forget what it is, HPD or something. This plastic that we use with a 2.5-inch to 2.3-inch blade, right? It's a 5-inch diameter prop, so each blade is like 2.4 inches, let's say, because there's a little bit of hub in the middle. The length of the blade and the material of the blade and the design of the blade control the resonant frequency of that blade. And as the resonant frequency of the blade gets lower and lower and lower, it gets closer to this magical 100 hertz number. We never want any of our vibrations on these quads to be less than 100. For you guys, it's this way. To be less than 100 hertz, because less than, and hertz is just like oscillations per second, right? So 100 oscillations per second. Below 100 oscillations per second is the natural motion of the quad when we get on the 6. So you never want any of your vibrations to be below 100 hertz, because if that happens, the vibrations are going to be on top of some of the real motion of the quad. So you're going to have to filter those vibrations, because you can't just let the vibrations propagate. So you're going to have to filter those sub 100 hertz vibrations. And in doing so, you're going to filter some of the natural movement of the rig. So if you push the stick just right, if you've got a vibration at 94 hertz and you push the stick just right to put this thing into a 94 hertz roll, it's going to be trying to filter out its own motion, which it's just no good. This is why lifters are so difficult to tune, right? So for the plastic that we use for our propellers, a 5-inch propeller, 5-inch diameter propeller, the blade length coupled with the material makes a resonant frequency that is above that 100 hertz number. 5.5-inch props, you're also safe. But when you hit 6-inch, that's where the problems begin. This is one of the reasons that you don't really see many 6-inch rigs or propellers, because that prop size with our regular plastic is not great. One of the things you'll notice, a lot of 7-inch and bigger propellers are now made of glass nylon. Glass nylon is a different material than this normal plastic, and glass nylon is a stiffer material. So the material being stiffer, when you flick the arm, or when you flick the blade, the resonant frequency becomes higher because it's a stiffer material, right? The material has a lot to do with that resonant frequency. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that 5-inch is kind of magical. One of the great things about micros is that the resonant frequency from the propeller blades is way up high. It's way up high in the frequency range. You can hear it, right? Like, we were just listening to a couple propellers. Whatever, we did it a minute ago. So yeah, what do you think of that? Chase says, I run Nachi 1408 4000 kV on a 3-inch rig for freestyle with Tattoo 4S 850 and probably the most powerful quad I got. Yeah, for sure. 1408s make an absolute asinine amount of power. I tried a number of 1407s, 1408s, 1507s. And yeah, for like a drag racing rig or just a fun rig where you just want to have tons of power and just everything else about it be damned, they're perfect for that. But for like a more traditional freestyle rig where you want really nice throttle control, those motors are kind of a nightmare. And they're also really hard on batteries, and they're kind of fragile because they're so tall. So there's a lot of problems with those motors. But if you just want like a super fun rig where you can just blast the throttle and the thing goes flying and accelerates really quickly, yeah, those motors do that. They do that very well. I don't fly like that personally, but yeah, they're fun. And they make a hell of a sound. Although 4000 kV is kind of low, so you're not going to get that super crazy high pitch wail that you can get from some of the higher kV motors. Elmo Hawk says, can we decase the O3 to make it lighter? Technically, yes, but it's awful expensive to do that too, and you're not going to save enough weight for it to really be worth it, in my opinion. Mainly, though, it's the price. I don't have... Yeah, I'm not going to spend $260 on something and then potentially ruin it. And even if I don't ruin it, I'm going to make it like infinitely less reliable. Like that's a rich man's game, and I certainly ain't that. Granny G123 says, I just bought the Tiny Whoop 0702 30,000 kV motors. Congratulations, brother. You got a set. Good work. Paired with the Gemfan 1210 biblade. If I want to motor limit it down to 26,000, what do I do to set the motor limit value to? So the motor limit value it's just a percentage. So just get a calculator out, and why I don't want all this extra stuff on this calculator. How do I get rid of all this extra shit? Get out of here. I just want the regular calculator. Man, this is talking about fucking first world problems. There we go. Oh wow, programmer calculator? Look at that shit bag. There we go. Now we're talking. So you're at 30,000 kV. So all you're going to do is multiply it by a number, which is the percentage. So like if you wanted to do 80%, you would multiply 30,000 times 0.8, and that's going to give you 24,000. So that's a little bit too low. So 30,000 multiplied by let's try 0.85 this time. There we go. We're pretty close. 0.85. Gets you to 25,500 kV. 30,000 kV times 0.86. There you go. 25,800. That's as close as you're going to get to it. Not true. 30,000 times 0.87. There you go. 0.87. Well, so 87. It's just a percentage. You're just doing percentages here. Super simple. So yeah, 87% would get you to 26,100. Don't worry too much about the specific numbers though. Just set it, just fly it, and then my firm opinion with every single quad that you fly is that you should get motors that are too high of a kV, slightly too high of a kV, and then initially you motor limit it down to like 80%, and you go and you fly it. and you be realistic with yourself, and you realize that less power will literally make you a better pilot, because it'll give you better throttle resolution, which is the most difficult thing to learn and master. So it's going to allow you to do stuff like slamming down really low to the ground and just flying really fast, really low. And it's going to enable you to just get closer to objects. Like as you get closer to an object, if you add a little bit of throttle, you'll be able to slowly get close to the object, versus with a really powerful setup, you add a little bit of throttle and you go shooting off of the object, right? The least power possible will almost always make your footage and your flying look and feel much, 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 much better, right? So my opinion is to always get a motor that's a little bit too high of a KV, motor limit it down to like 70 or even 80%, fly it, and like if you absolutely cannot stand the amount of power that it has and you absolutely have to have more power, add a little bit, add 5%, go from 70 to 75 or 80 to 85, and then fly it again, and fly like a couple batteries. Like give yourself a chance to get used to it with less power. And then, yeah, if you absolutely need more, just creep the amount of power up until you get to a point where it's literally like the least amount of power that you can stand, and then stop thinking about it and just fly it. And if after 100 batteries, you still want a little bit more power, then you can add a little bit more. But one of the best things that I ever did to get better and improve as a pilot many years ago was to go lower in KV. This was back when I was flying 50, 60, 75-inch batteries a week, every week. And it was basically, I went from 4S 2400 KV down to 6S 1600 KV. With a lower pitch prop. I think that's the same total RPM. 2400 kV times 4 is 9600. 1600 kV times 6 is 9600. Yeah, so it's the same kV, but I went from a 45 pitch prop to a 5040. This is when I discovered the Dow 5040C. Propeller, and just having less power made a huge difference. And then at some point motor limiting popped up, and I started motor limiting down, and that's what I do. I take a rig every time I change motors or anything. I take the rig out and I motor limit it way the fuck down, and I fly it, and I always go too low because I want to feel it with not enough power. And then I just creep it up a little bit, and eventually it's like it's just this sweet spot where it's like, ooh, I kind of wish I had a little bit more power, but that's perfect. That's kind of where you want to be. Yeah, that's how I got a lot better. So if you want to get a lot better, that's one of the things you can definitely try. If you're just flying for the sake of having fun, then like you win. Like that's the way to do it. Sometimes it sucks. Like having this need to get good at stuff all the time is kind of tiring, if I'm honest. I love it, and it like, yeah. I love it, but I wish I had a little bit more control over it, I think is what I'm going for here. Oh, Christ. All right. Where are we at in chat here? There we go. Great question, Granny G. Chomper FPV's in the house. What's up, brother? How are you? Chomper says, what drone is that with the guards behind you? This is the Tooth Fairy 2, the FPV Cycle Tooth Fairy 2. This is a 3-inch or 3.5-inch rig. I built this as a Cinewhoop, but the Cinesplores are they're a little bit different. They're much easier to work on. They've got much more space. They're a lot less fiddly. So I chose to stick with them. This build was like, should I move over to this frame instead of the Cinesplore frame? And the answer is certainly no. But this frame is still really good, and this is a really interesting frame. And so this is the third rig that I bring with me on the cycle chasing gigs, because with these carbon fiber guards on it, it'll go really fast. And like, God forbid I need something that absolutely hauls ass, I can do it with this. Unfortunately, this is above 250 grams, so I can't fly this over people that aren't on our crew. So if I have to fly this for the event, well, I mean, so like Miami Beach, for example, they wouldn't let me put anything up in the air that was over 250 grams. We could have been dicks about it and told them, like, no, that's not the FAA's rules, and you can't make your own rules. Like, you don't own the airspace, they do. I know it's your town, but overreach, yo. But I mean, it's just not worth fighting, basically. You know what I mean? Like, it's just stupid to. That's not a fight that you're gonna win. Like, you might think you win that, but they're gonna get revenge in other ways and make your life a living hell in some other way. So yeah, you just don't do that. But the other thing that's cool about this rig is I can put this serves as my Cinewhoop. So if I need to go fast with this thing, I can, because it's on 3.5-inch propellers with these guards, and the guards are very aerodynamic. Or I can put the Cinewhoop ducts on this and have a fully safe to fly around people, not above people, right? Just around people. Full-blown Cinewhoop. So the question might become, well, why not just put these on your Cinesplorer? They don't quite fit. I did cut them down shorter to fit, but what I ran into is that the thing I really love the most about this Tooth Fairy 2 frame is it has 4mm thick arms. The Cinesplorer only has 3mm thick arms. The Cinesplorer, Rugi must have done some kind of fucking black magic with the resonance of those thin little arms when they have the ducts mounted to them, because when you build a Cinesplorer and you have ducts on it as intended, it's completely fine. If you take the ducts off, the arms start to vibrate at a frequency that seems to like not really be able to be filtered out rather, and it's just a nightmare. Like, Brandon's Baked Beans and I spent a while trying to figure out what the hell was going on with them, and at the end of it, we were just kind of like, all right, well, it must just be like a vibration. We just got it to the point where it was like, this is as good as it's gonna be, and it was still not all that great. Like, the tune was not all that great, and then like I put the ducts back on it, and all is right with the world again. So this rig with the 4mm arms, it can stand to not have ducts on it, and it can stand to have these weird aerodynamic guards on it. You want to talk about like a super sketchy rig to fly around people, but technically it, doesn't have externally rotating things that can lacerate. This is kind of it in this current setup. So yeah, I don't know. I've only flown it a couple times with these guards. The sort of the biggest problem for me with these guards is that if you crash it once, they break. They're just they have no strength to them whatsoever. Yeah, okay, just don't crash it. It's a cinematic rig. Yeah, fair enough, but crashes happen whether you like it or not. Components fail. You're not a perfect pilot. You're not the best pilot on Earth. Even the best pilots on Earth crash. So yeah, crashing is gonna happen. To hide behind like, oh, just don't crash is the dumbest shit ever. And anybody that says that out loud should be hit with a hammer. But yeah, Tooth Fairy 2, man, really interesting build. The other thing that I hate about this build is that you have to use an AIO. It does not have enough deck height for a half-decent 20x20 stack. Technically, when I first built this, I did put a 20x20 stack in it, but it was not a good 20x20 stack. It lacks like I said, the deck height, you only get like, I think you get like 16 millimeters or 16 or 17 millimeters worth of build height. So to put a somewhat reliable ESC in there, and then a flight controller on top of it, you just run out of room, and you got to really like make huge compromises to try to fit any kind of a 20 by 20 stack in there. Basically, what you end up having to do is run one of the really thin ESCs, and those are all like kind of cheap and not really all that reliable. And with a rig that you're going to use around people, it has to be reliable. Mycelit FPV says, my name is pronounced Missilit, a mix of the words mystic and pilot. Very cool. Missilit, mystic pilot. Very cool. Where are we at here? Ramdago says, when I land/crash and the camera goes psychedelic, is that a bad joint? I mean, did you smoke a bad joint? Is that what's happening? Is the quad okay? Easiest way to tell, Ram, is did the video and the OSD go nuts? Or is the video going nuts and the OSD is rock solid? If the OSD is rock solid, it's all the camera's fault. The camera and the cable connecting it. If the OSD is also fucking up, it could technically still be the camera, but it could also be the OSD chip or the VTX or the VTX antenna. King FPV says, hey. Adam Weston says, resonance of props, or is it the best size to carry a GoPro session? So that is the other really good point, Adam. I forgot to mention that. The payload is the other big driving factor of behind 5-inch. The Session 5 was like the payload for during like the huge boom of like R&D basically that was going on in FPV 4, 5, 6 years ago. So the Session 5 80-gram payload with a 5-inch propeller we were able to get the runtime that we wanted back on 4S, that we were talking like 3 minutes, right? 3 minutes runtime, good power to weight ratio, just generally good flight characteristics. But yeah, one of the other reasons is the material that the props are made of, which is I dove into that because like not many people know that. Like everybody kind of knows that, right? 5-inch rigs are for carrying GoPros. A 4-inch rig does not carry a GoPro as nicely as a 5-inch rig. It lacks efficiency and power and whatnot, and float hang time. Although I really prefer, like for example, I've moved from 5.1-inch props to 4.9-inch props because I find that 5-inch rigs have too much float actually. So, but that's just me. That's a fairly specific thing. Oh my god, this is a nightmare. June Loco says, what about 1806 2500 kV on 3-inch? No, terrible idea. That you're going the wrong direction, June. We want to go smaller with motors, not bigger. 1806, that's more of like a 4-inch motor, if not like a 4.5-inch motor. Yeah, and that KV is astronomically too low. That's probably about the worst motor you could put on a 4-inch rig, 3-inch rig rather. That you would make no power because that KV is way too low, and then that motor is way too big for any of the 3-inch props. So you would have no power, and you would have a motor that's way too heavy. So the flight characteristics would be shit because the motors are so heavy on the ends of the arms that like every time it wanted to speed up and slow down the movement of the frame itself, it would the response time would be very low. And then you wouldn't have the power to offset that. Like if you're going to put a motor on a rig that's too big in volume, you at least want the KV to be too high so that you're doing something with that extra volume. An 1806 2500 on a 3-inch propeller, it would have too much volume and it wouldn't do anything with that extra volume. So it would be like it would be like putting a V8 into a sports car, but then it only has like a 3-speed transmission that tops out at like 70 miles an hour. You know, it's got all this power, but it can't really do anything with it. Brandon Woodford says, hey. David J says, glad to catch the stream live. I've been watching some recent streams after the fact. Very cool. Good to have you, David. David also says, I just got a Mobula 7. Do have a recommendation for a frame upgrade. I'm loving it, but I know it'll break eventually. If you got the 1S ELRS Mobula 7, you've got the best frame. It is called the Mobula 7 V4 frame, and it is the best one that exists. If you do a 65 millimeter build, the best frame that exists is the Meteor 65. Those two frames are so much better than all of the other frames that exist, that there's just no reason to run anything other than those two frames. Ramdongo says, Lucy in the Sky, OSD equals all good. Fourth Barry, all the grass was orange effect. PS stream paused for me there, refreshing now. Weird. Okay, yeah, so if the OSD is all good, it's the camera or the camera cable. BattleDirtskin says, Gemfan makes a 3630 prop now. No shit. So does Emax. You sure that's not an Emax prop? No, there it is. Gemfan Hurricane 3630. I'll be damned. Interesting. That's a great blade profile. That reminds me a lot of their more current 5-inch propellers. That's really nice. 3630. Very cool. I wish I could find a side profile of one of them to make sure it's going to clear motors. Damn, that's great. 3630. Amazing. Kevin Sumner says, you doing Castle Crash? I am not. There's just too much going on around here. Oh man, I'm right on the brink of like total allergy meltdown. I stole that from Mighty Car Mods. Go check them out here on YouTube. They're the best car channel ever. The stick ends box is home. There's too much stuff here, man. Can't even see me behind this pile. Yeah, this is the... Got taped over. This is the M... I don't know if this is the M3 or M4 stick ends box, but they are both home now. So, yeah, I think there's one person on the list that these will go out to. But, yeah. Oh, I forgot to shill. This is my full-time job, friends. Can you believe it? If you like this kind of stuff and you want to see it continue, it's on you. I'm completely funded by you beautiful people. So you get to vote with a couple of dollars a month to keep the show on the road here. Patreon is the best way to support me and the best way to get yourself a bunch of benefits. You're going to get email notifications of all the live streams. You're going to get access to a whole bunch of stuff on Patreon that I've just put on Patreon only. Tech articles, some like random weights. Like if I'm, oh my god, this is a fucking nightmare. Oh my god, I hate this so much. Oh, I hate allergies. Like, imagine living a life like you know how when you're sick you feel like total ass, but like you only get sick like 2 or 3 times a year. Yeah. Allergies are just like being sick like once a week, if not more. And like, I gotta be honest, after a number of years, it gets real fucking old. Like it really it's really, really, really annoying. And like, it's almost like demoralizing. It's just like, this again. Can I just not? Can I just not? How about that? How about if like this just never happens again? No? All right. Well, I guess here we are again. PM, David. I'm not even awake at 10 a.m. Yeah, so Patreon helps you out the most. You're also going to get access to a YouTube playlist, a private YouTube playlist with a bunch of like sketchy flying and Patreon only live streams that we've done and stuff like that. And there's a couple of Facebook groups too. So yeah, Patreon helps me out the most. You can join Patreon for as little as $3 a month. That is 7.5 cents per hour of live stream. If an hour of me answering questions and telling you guys everything I've learned in 7+ years of FPV is not worth 7.5 cents per hour, then I quit. Don't put yourself out though, obviously. If you don't have 10 cents a day, it's all good. Enjoy the content. It's here for you. But I sure could use that dime a day to keep this ship afloat, yo. And you know, the more popular this gets, the more stuff that I can buy and test. So it's full circle, yo. Over on Etsy, you can buy yourself something nice. It is payday. You could get yourself some fun stickers or some random M2 hardware that'll help you on your next build. Over on Fiverr, you can work one-on-one with me. I'll help you fly better, tune better, build better. Or just if you want one-on-one time with somebody that's been doing this forever so that you don't have to dig through the internet for an hour per question, I can help you out with that. And we'll just do a one-on-one session. We can talk about whatever you want. Teespring is another spot you can buy yourself something nice. I've got some fun shirts and some other random stuff on there. If you want to support me directly, you can just shoot me some money via PayPal. Write a little note on there and maybe leave a comment here saying, "Yo, Ciotti, check your PayPal," so I can give you the shout out that you deserve. And then if you're ordering something on the internet from any website, I know you're ordering on the internet, somebody probably has an affiliate link to that website. Why not just hook them up and grab their affiliate link, because it takes you like 4 seconds, and then they'll keep making content on YouTube for you to watch for free because you click the button. It's super easy. I have affiliate links to WeBleed FPV, Newbie Drone, FPV Cycle, Amazon, Get FPV, Oh My God, HD0, Flywoo, Emacs, Banggood, Camera Butter, and AliExpress. You do have to hit the affiliate, like when you check out and pay for your order, the affiliate link gets wiped out. So what a lot of people have done is change their bookmarks to my affiliate links. Or if you're like me and when you go to Amazon, you just type AMA for Amazon, you can actually on the right, like it'll make a suggestion. You can click the little X to the right of the suggestion that says remove suggestion. And so you can go in and like remove the regular old Amazon.com suggestion and then just hit my Amazon affiliate link a couple times. And now your browser will think that when you type AMA, you want to go to the affiliate link. And yeah, so a couple different ways you can do that. It makes a huge difference. It's free. It doesn't take much time at all. So yeah, that's how you support your gangly buddy. So that you can hear me sniffle and snort snot for more days. More of your life. So yeah, there's that. There's also this though. What do we got here? This is a box from Newbie Drone. No, this is from WeBleed FPV. This is the Newbie Drone HDO2 goggle foam, which I'm hoping, we're gonna do this right now actually, because I'm super excited for this. I'm hoping that this is the perfect foam. I've heard that this is the perfect foam for Walksnail goggles. To keep the lenses from touching your eyeballs. This foam material that Newbie Drone uses is really nice. It's like you guys ever tag along while your significant other or daughters are makeup shopping, and there are these little egg-looking things. There's these little like brightly colored egg-looking bastards that are this like really satisfying to squish foam material. That's what this material is. It's really nice. It's like a really nice material. It's got like a real quality kind of feel to it. So let's see. Is this the perfect goggle foam for Walksnail goggles? So right now I switched the foam that these came with to like an old set of Fat Shark foam that I just had sitting around. And it made it way better, and it's almost good to go. This is kind of like the thick foam. Here, hold on. This is kind of like the thickest. So when you buy a Fat Shark foam kit, it comes with 3 different thicknesses of foam in there, and this is the thickest one. But the thing is, this foam is very soft, and like, so you put it on your face and it just completely flattens out. This stuff here, the Newbie Drone stuff, is a lot like more dense is the word. It's a much more dense kind of foam. So when you put it on your face, it doesn't flatten all the way out. So I think this will keep the lenses off my face, off my eyeballs and my eyelashes a lot better. So let's take a quick look. But the first thing is, will it fit properly? Because this is meant for the HDO2s. The faceplate on these Walksnail and the Fat Shark goggles, though, is really similar looking to the HDO2s. So I have a feeling that this is going to be the perfect foam for these. I absolutely cannot believe that they use the same setup for the memory cards. It's just absolutely absurd to me that you have to either push it in and fire it out, or you have to use a pair of tweezers to get the fucking memory card out. Like, is this real life? Am I missing something here? Is this really happening? Why not put it anywhere else? It's because it's... The reason why they don't put it anywhere else is because it's... the little card reader slot is obviously on some sort of a board. It better be. That better be the reason. There's a circuit board on top here, and then I assume, and then the card holder is just soldered to that circuit board. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, so that you guys can kind of see it. Kind of see what I'm doing here. These antennas are kind of broken. Might need to check that out. Okay, so put the center part on first here. The thing that kind of tipped me off to this being the perfect foam is that it's got this cutout here, and this goggle faceplate has that exact same cutout. So it's not the exact right shape, but I bet you it's close enough. It's pretty damn close. This is, I really like the way that it attaches here in the nose area. And then I can just sort of run this along there. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the exact right shape. Like, I would love it if Newbie Drone would come out with specific Walksnail specific foam. That would be amazing. I don't think anybody has. I don't think anybody has Walksnail specific foam, which is kind of insane. But yeah, this is I think about as good as we're gonna get. This fits pretty damn good. Oh god damn. All right, so get this up here, and then all right, so there we go. That's hold on. This looks ridiculous on this side. Come on, get in there. Get in there. So I want to get it. I'm gonna get it pushed down for my nose, and then this kind of, nah, see, I'm having a little bit of an issue here. So let's peel the bottom off. And then we'll put this in here first and we'll get it centered. All right, cool. So that's now centered. So then these parts can go like that and like that. And then up here a little bit. Up here a little bit. Yeah, so you can really see like the bottom part of this is sort of just too long. Out here, see how it kind of, right? This should go like that, but it's out here like this. But like whatever, that doesn't really, like, who cares about that? All right, let's see. So the big test is when I wear them up here on my forehead, will it keep the lenses off of my greasy ball forehead? Oh, there's a bunch of light. No, yeah, these are... The sides are a little bit loose, but there's actually no light leak on the sides. All the light leak is on the bottom, but you can fix that by just kind of picking them up a little bit. And yeah, I think, so the easy way to test it is to just wipe the lenses off and then just put them up on your forehead and then look at the lenses again. So lenses are nice and clean right now. Put them up my forehead the way that I do, and I can feel the lenses touching my forehead. So put them up there again, and... actually, no, it's not too bad. I can feel them. I mean, I did just shower. No, yeah, I can feel them touching my forehead. All right, so yeah, this foam is still not quite thick enough. And yeah, I can see the grease all over the lenses. Well, it was worth a shot. Okay. Yeah. Maybe I'll message Kelvin and say, hey man, any plans for Walksnail foam? If so, please make it thicker than your HDO2 foam to keep the lenses off of our eyeballs. Because we have diopter adjustment, and I think the diopter adjustment, I don't think the diopter adjustment moves the lenses. It does not. So yeah, if we get thicker foam, we can pull it out off our face and then just use the diopter adjustment to dial it in. This foam is okay though. This foam is okay. It's just as good as this Fat Shark foam, which is the other decent foam that I found. So yeah. Oh, God. All right. So, and yeah, I got that foam from We Bleed FPV. Here's the rest of the We Bleed FPV order. Jeff hooked me up with a whole bunch of stickers, as he always does, which is amazing. Oh, Jesus. Whoo, boy. This is a slow onset allergy attack, but it is it's coming, man. It is coming. I got another one of these ultra short left-hand circular polarized antennas for Walksnail builds. So I got one of these. Another set of BT 2.0 connectors. I was running out. Oh boy. Fractal 65 frame. He sent 2 of them, so I might do a giveaway with one of them. I don't think I ordered 2. But yeah, Fractal 65 frame kit for the Walksnail RC drift car chasing build. I got another set of 300 mAh batteries, BT 2.0 batteries. Oh man, come on now. I got another one of these Beta FPV canopies to hold the Walksnail camera. And then I got... I bought a set... no, I didn't know it. He threw these in. This is 2 sets of their 0702 32,500 kV screamers. I'm super excited to check these motors out. Sorry guys, this live stream's over. This is gonna get, this allergy attack is gonna get really nasty, like right now. Super excited to check out those screamers. Yeah, having a red 32,000 kV motor is amazing. McConnell Studios sent me this Cinesplore, which has an O3 air unit in it. I'm gonna try my best to get it up in the air. I'm slammed busy right now though, so this is gonna have to wait a little bit, but coming soon. Coming soon. And then I haven't had a chance to open this. I don't even know what this is. Oh, it's from Sumner. The box from Kevin Sumner, I believe. Whew, shit. Always cut towards yourself, friends. Then maybe you'll cut your own jugular and end up on the news. Let's see what Kevin said. All right, so we've got... Oh, the hard drive. That's right. That's right. Kevin had this hard drive sitting around, and I was complaining about needing more storage. I think this is a 4 terabyte HGST. What was it at? Yeah, 4 terabyte. Thank you, Kevin. Very cool. Very, very cool. So between this and the 12 gig hard drive that my dad got me, I'm good to go. I'll be good to go for a while. Oh, nice! And a bunch of the 5-inch prop bags. I ran out of 5-inch prop bags, and I was asking you guys if you had any floating around, and it looks like Kevin did, which is rad. These will get used well. Oh, and look at that! Some M1.7 by 10 screws with big old heads on them. This is super helpful. Kevin, thank you for that. M1.7. Oh, M1.7. 1.7 might be a little too big. We'll try it. I think M1.4 by 10 is what we want, but we'll try these M1.7 by 10s. That's right. I remember we talked about that, Kevin. All right, cool. We good. This fancy bubble wrap that Kevin used, and he sent me back some McStinky mounts. It looks like, which is super funny. All right, yo. There's the end of mailbag, and that's gonna be the end of the stream. I'm hold on. I have to change the I have to change the name of the stream. AOS 3. Build. Discuss. What the fuck? YouTube. What are you doing? Build discussion is what I'm gonna change it to. Build discussion and allergy attack. Mailbag Q&A. There we go. There's a factual stream title for you. Sorry we didn't dive into this build. I feel like my head's gonna explode. Hopefully it doesn't. But if it does, it's been great knowing you guys. I've appreciated every moment that we've spent together. So, you know, cross your fingers for me. All right, guys, be good. Don't have an allergy attack. Kevin says, nope, I printed those a long time ago. Kevin Sumner says, M1.7 is right for the fractal builds. Ah, right. Okay, this is for the fractal builds. Awesome, 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 awesome. The M1.4s are what I think is the right size for these Mobula 7 V4 frames. Munga D says, feel better. Thanks, dude. McConnell Studio says, no rush. Awesome. Thank you, dude. Chomper says, hope everyone is good. Catch you next time. Got a split. See you later. Then Anderson says, I was sitting here watching that view, and I kept trying to scroll up. Bob Bruce got his PSN account back after a month and a half. I think it got hacked, if I remember correctly. Kevin Summer dropping the CiottiFPV.com link. Thank you, dude. And Northern Tier says, hope you drive soon. Yeah, me too, man. Thank you. All right, friends, be good. I'm going to just be miserable for a while. Here comes some flying. Hold on, let me give you some flying from yesterday. I got you. Hold on. I got something for you that you'll dig. This is, well, it should be Walksnail drift chasing footage from yesterday. I'm starting to get used to the Walksnail rig, and I'm starting to be able to drop down nice and low like I can with the analog rigs, which is great. I was really worried that the Walksnail rig, the latency of the Walksnail setup was just going to be like too much for me to really fly super hard with, but I think I'm kind of getting used to it, which is cool. Let me just get this rolling here. See what kind of music we can get going. I don't know what's happening here. It's just not working. Okay, that was weird. Okay. Oh, this is... Oh, okay. This is Patrick flying it. I think this might be me flying it. Yeah, this is. All right, friends. Here you go. Let me turn the subtitles off. And I'll see you guys Sunday at 3 o'clock. I'll be all dried up by then, I promise. Be good, friends. Love you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Later.